Today we're diving into the work of Eduardo Galeano.
The Uruguayan journalist and writer?
Right. And our deep dive today is inspired by a blog post. Someone revisits Galeano's book Soccer in Sun and Shadow years later and finds new meaning in it as an adult.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever reread a childhood favorite and seen it in a totally different light?
Absolutely.
That's what's so fascinating about this blog post.
It really is. It's a wonderful exploration of how our perspectives evolve as we experience more of life.
Yeah.
Galeano was brilliant at weaving together history and politics and culture.
Right.
And this blogger really captures how those themes resonate differently over time.
And he starts with a detail that really cracked me up. As a kid, what stuck with him most weren't Galeano's insights on soccer. It was the fact that he used swear words. He remembers being shocked to see those words in print.
That's so interesting because it actually points to one of Galeano's core beliefs.
Yeah.
That serious topics don't have to be boring. He often used humor, even if it was a bit crude, to engage readers and confront harsh realities.
It's like he understood that sometimes a little bit of humor makes us more receptive to challenging ideas.
Exactly. And this ties into another concept that the blogger highlights, being Sentipensante.
Sentipensante.
A word Galeano learned from Colombian fishermen. It beautifully captures the idea of thinking with both your heart and your head.
That word.
It's a great word.
It feels so relevant today.
Absolutely.
Especially when we're constantly bombarded with information online.
Right.
How can we be sentipensante when we're scrolling through social media or trying to make sense of the news?
That's such a great question.
Yeah.
Galeano believed that true understanding came from engaging with both our intellect and our feelings. It's about recognizing that logic alone isn't enough.
Okay.
We need to be in touch with our emotions, our intuition, and even our gut feelings.
Right.
To make sense of complex situations.
So instead of just absorbing information passively, sentipensante means actively processing it through multiple lenses, both the analytical and the emotional.
Precisely. And this is reflected in how Galeano wrote.
Okay.
He wasn't just presenting facts.
Yeah.
He was inviting readers to feel and think deeply about what he was sharing. He wanted to spark an emotional connection.
Yeah.
Not just an intellectual one.
This makes me think about the power of stories. Facts and figures can inform us.
Right.
But it's often the stories that help us connect with an issue on a deeper level and inspire us to act.
Absolutely. And for this blogger, rereading Soccer in Sun and Shadow as an adult brought back a flood of childhood memories and emotions.
Okay.
That emotional connection allowed him to grasp the deeper meanings in Galeano's words.
All right.
Meanings he might have missed as a child.
It's like the words themselves hadn't changed.
Right.
But his ability to understand them had evolved along with his experiences.
Yes. And that evolution is a key part of what it means to be sentipensante.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our understanding is constantly evolving.
Right.
As we gather new experiences and perspectives.
So it's not just about absorbing information. It's about being open to how that information resonates with us emotionally and how that resonance can lead us to new insights.
Exactly. Now, the blogger also digs into another one of Galeano's reflections.
Okay.
This time on the word bobo.
Bobo.
Which translates to foolish in Spanish. Galeano was curious why the heart of all things was called bobo.
That is curious.
Right.
You'd think the heart, the symbol of love and passion, would be praised, not called foolish.
As a child, Galeano thought it was because the heart falls in love.
Okay.
Suggesting it's foolish to be ruled by emotion. But as he matured, he came to a completely different understanding. He realized that the heart is called bobo because it works tirelessly without complaint. It constantly gives and receives, never asking for anything in return.
So it's not about being foolish in love. It's about the heart's selfless dedication.
Precisely. And this deeply resonated with the blogger, who at the time was working long hours. And felt like a bobo himself.
It makes you wonder if, in our modern world, we undervalue dedication and hard work. Are we so focused on efficiency and outcomes that we've forgotten the value of simply doing what you love, even if it doesn't lead to immediate rewards?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that glorifies hustle and productivity.
Right.
But what about the intrinsic value of passion and dedication, of pouring your heart into something, even if it doesn't lead to external validation?
This idea of the bobo heart reminds me of artists, activists. or anyone who dedicates their lives to a cause they deeply believe in.
Yeah.
Even if it means sacrifice and struggle.
Exactly. And that connects beautifully to how the blogger frames his experience with Galeano's work.
Okay.
He says these insights broke his algorithm.
That's such a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like Galeano's words hacked into his brain
Right.
and forced him to see the world differently.
And that idea of breaking the algorithm is a great bridge to the next part of our deep dive.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So,
cool.
yeah.
Great.
All right. So it's fascinating how the blogger uses this like tech-savvy term, breaking the algorithm, to describe his experience with Galeano's work.
I know. It's like he's saying that Galeano challenged his ingrained ways of thinking. Those assumptions we all carry around that filter how we see the world.
Exactly. It's about disrupting those patterns.
Right.
Shaking things up and being open to new ideas.
Yeah.
Even if they push us outside of our comfort zones.
And in a world overflowing with information.
Yeah.
Isn't that more important than ever?
Absolutely.
We're bombarded with news opinions and targeted content.
Right.
It's so easy to get stuck in an echo chamber where we only encounter information that reinforces what we already believe.
You're absolutely right. And that's where Galeano's approach becomes so relevant. He was all about pushing readers to think critically, question authority, and never stop learning and growing.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want us to just passively consume information.
Right.
He'd want us to engage with it, wrestle with it, and let it challenge our assumptions.
So how do we actually do that? How can we become more like those Sentipensante algorithm breakers?
It starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Recognizing that we all have biases.
Right.
Even if we don't realize it.
Yeah.
Once we acknowledge that, we can start to question those biases and look for information that challenges them.
It's like doing a mental inventory, asking ourselves, where did this belief come from? Is it based on evidence or just what I've always been told?
Exactly. And then actively seek out different viewpoints.
Okay.
Read books and articles from diverse perspectives.
Right.
Talk to people who hold different views.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable, sure, but it's also how we grow.
It's like that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room,
right,
you're in the wrong room.
I love that. And the blogger's experience with Galeano shows us that even familiar words can hold new meanings when we're open to seeing them differently. He encountered words like bobo, words he thought he understood.
Yeah.
But Galeano revealed new layers of meaning, forcing him to reconsider his assumptions.
It reminds me of how much power language has.
Yeah.
Words can limit us,
right,
but they can also liberate us if we're willing to look deeper.
Absolutely.
Galeano was a master at that, revealing the hidden depths of language, the way it can be both a weapon and a tool for change.
He really was. But breaking the algorithm isn't just about seeking out new information or analyzing language. It's also about connecting those ideas to action.
Right. What good is all this thinking and questioning if it doesn't lead to some kind of change in how we live or interact with the world?
So let's bring this back to those key concepts we've been discussing.
Okay.
How can we apply the ideas of being sentipensante and embracing the bobo heart to make a real difference? How can we use those ideas to challenge the status quo and create positive change?
Those are great questions, and I think the answers might be different for everyone. But maybe that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. But perhaps we can offer some potential pathways.
Okay.
For example, being sentipensante could mean taking a more empathetic approach to online discussions.
Right.
Even with people we disagree with.
Yeah.
It could mean looking beyond the headlines and trying to understand the complexities of an issue before forming an opinion.
And embracing the bobo heart could mean finding the courage to pursue work that truly fulfills us. Even if it's not the most lucrative or prestigious path, it could mean dedicating our time and energy to causes we believe in.
Right.
Even if the results aren't immediate or guaranteed.
And ultimately, breaking the algorithm is about recognizing that we have the power to choose how we engage with the world. We can be passive consumers of information.
Right.
Letting algorithms dictate what we see and how we think.
Yeah.
Or we can be active participants, questioning, challenging, and creating our own unique understanding.
It's about choosing curiosity over complacency, seeking understanding over judgment, and embracing the messiness of the world with an open heart and a critical mind.
I like that.
It's about recognizing that, like the blogger, We all have the potential to break the algorithm and create a more thoughtful, just, and compassionate world.
That's beautifully put. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Eduardo Galeano, let's leave our listener with something to ponder.
Okay.
What word or concept from your childhood has taken on a new meaning as you've gotten older?
What's your algorithm-breaking word?
Think about it. Explore it.
Okay.
And maybe it will lead you to a whole new understanding of yourself and the world around you.
Right.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
It's amazing how these simple concepts, mierda y culo, sentipensante, the bobo heart, can spark such profound reflections.
That's the beauty of Galeano's work. He had this knack for taking everyday words and revealing their hidden depths.
Right.
Challenging us to see the world through new lenses.
He was like a linguistic archaeologist, unearthing layers of meaning that we often overlook.
And he wasn't afraid to use humor and unconventional language to make his points.
Like he was saying, wake up. Don't just accept things at face value. Think critically, question everything, and don't be afraid to laugh along the way.
Exactly. And that's where the idea of being sentipensante comes in.
Right.
It's not enough to just analyze things intellectually. We need to engage with our emotions, our intuition, and our lived experiences.
It's about integrating those different ways of knowing, recognizing that true understanding comes from a holistic perspective.
And the Bobo Heart reminds us that dedication and passion are just as important as efficiency and outcomes.
It's about finding joy in the process. In the act of creation and contribution, even if it doesn't always lead to external reward.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Eduardo Galeano, what's the key takeaway for our listener?
I think it's this. Never stop questioning, never stop learning, and never underestimate the power of words to shape our understanding of the world.
Embrace your inner sentipensante.
Right.
Nurture your Bobo Heart.
And don't be afraid to break your own algorithms.
Keep exploring, keep challenging yourself, and keep discovering new ways to see the world. Until next time, keep diving deep